As most of you all know, City Circle is a charity that runs a number of projects. Just to give you a brief background, we run 3 projects. Firstly, the Friday lectures. These are public lectures that can cover a variety of topics, and they're very unusual and varied. Tonight's one is particularly interesting. And secondly, we have the Saturday School. So if you're happy to volunteer, you'd like details on that, please do ask us some questions at the end or the sign-up sheet at the back of the room. And thirdly, the homeless shelter on Sunday evenings is the Soup Kitchen. So if you either want to volunteer or you'd like to donate, then please, again, do ask us questions or sign up at the back of the room. Tonight, we have an event entitled Empowering Young People Through Creative Arts. Now, if you're here, I'm assuming that you've already read the summary for this event, so I won't repeat it in too much detail. But the focus is essentially on New Press, which is a wonderful charity that started in 2009. It was founded by 4 young people who felt that the media, mainstream media in particular, was rife with a lot of criticism of young people, whether this was labeling them hoodies, blaming them for gang violence or teenage pregnancies, and a lot of different things. And I don't think times have changed much since 2009. But U-Press is trying to combat that and really to try and turn the dialogue into something more positive. So these are 4 people, very young, 24 to 26, and they met in East London, and they decided to do something about it. I'm not going to tell you too much of that because Farah here is one of the 4 founders and one of the 2 still serving founders, and he'll be explaining exactly what U-Press does. To give you brief background, Farah Mohammed was originally born in Somalia. His family moved to London when he was 8, and his education has always been very important to him. It's because of that I think he has quite an impressive list of courses that he's undertaken over the years. I can't even imagine how many hours, weeks, months or years he spent on them. So I'll just name you just 2 of them: the Luca Leadership course in Italy and the Intercultural Communication Leadership School in Tower Hamlets. United Nations Alliance of Civilization in Portugal. I mean, it's an impressive list. And it just goes to show that this is obviously a gentleman who is quite committed to the cause, and hopefully he can explain in more detail what that cause is. We will following that up with 4 ambassadors for U-Press. And these are 4 men who have, 3 gentlemen who have very different backgrounds, and I'll get to them each in due course, but if I could hand it off now to Farah.
Thank you for that lovely introduction. What I want to say is, before I tell you what U-Press is and what we do, is can I encourage everyone at the back to come to the front. I want this to be an intimate evening, and I think you will appreciate it. So don't be shy, come to the front, please.
I can see certain people looking at each other, and that includes you.
Thank you guys for doing that. We have an incredible and hopefully inspiring story to share with you this evening. And I want to share with you guys the actual journey and the impact that we've had with U-Press. And just like the lovely introduction I got, U-Press started off as a social action campaign, an idea to do something positive for our community. And to be honest with you, before U-Press, I was mainly focused on making money and being successful in a very, you could say, materialistic ideology. I never thought about giving back. I never thought about the impact it could have on me in terms of personal growth. But I always knew there was something missing. I always knew that I needed to better myself. And I think being fortunate to be raised in 3 countries, Somalia, Kenya, and here, gave me a different perspective in terms of what was important to me. And some of the things that we take for granted in life. And U-Press was the avenue that allowed me to explore what I can really do. You see, I come from a culture where you are conditioned to get married, have kids, get a job, and that's the lifestyle for you. So being entrepreneur, following your dream or your passion is not a norm. I'll speak to my parents like, I'm following my passion, I want to do this, then like, wake up, boy. This is not like, you know, it's not a movie or it's not a fantasy. Get a job and do something that brings, you know, pride to who you are and your family and your culture. So it is kind of out of the norm trying to do something that is not, you know, very common in a way. But that's, you know, I'll tell you a bit more about my story when we do have a break and a bit of networking session at the end. But what I want to tell you is Youth Press is a social enterprise that believes in the power of words and stories. And our mission is to use creative arts and writing to have a voice and be heard. The way we do this is through two elements. The creative arts, we work with marginalized and invisible community members. And we look for creative ways to empower them to have a voice and engage and actually share their story, and in turn changing society's perceptions of them. So to give you an example, some of the projects that we work on is a homeless project called One Story of Voice. What followed was the Voices of Redemption, where we work with 10 ex-offenders and empower them to, again, have their voice and actually get them to be confident to fight against the stereotypes that you see in society. The third project, our most recent one, is called I Remember Srebrenica, where we took a group of artists and a group of students to Bosnia to meet survivors and the mothers of Srebrenica. What the artists did, these were a group of artists that include poets, musicians, spoken word artists, filmmakers, graphic designers, the list can go on. What they did is they met the survivors, and the lessons that they learned, they turned it into original artwork. So this is original music, original poetry, original documentary based on what they learned, and making that part of lesson transferable and accessible to the next generation. And actually we just recently a few weeks ago, we did an event during the Memorial Week, honoring the innocent victims that were massacred 21 years ago. So these are some of the projects that we do. We also, to give you a bit of background, we started off as a writing and journalist. The name itself can give you an idea. Youth Press, it's a press organization. We started off empowering young people to have a voice in the community in terms of journalistic point of view. So when there was a lot of rife in the media, a lot of journalists would report all these things related to young people, but they wouldn't have any clue how young people are living in society. They don't live in the community, they don't know day-to-day what life is like in that community. We thought, well, the best way to do that is to train young journalists from the community that report on what is relevant and what is going on in society. And our first partnership was with The Guardian, where we released Youth Tell series. And then we trained young journalists, they engaged, and actually the incredible impact was it got the older demographic who had negative perceptions of young people to engage with those articles that were written and have a dialogue to understand one another and what point of view where they were coming from. That's just a snippet of what we do. What I want to do is I want to show you a quick video detailing some of the impact that we've had on our second project, which was the Voices of Redemption project. And this will follow up with the recipients and our ambassadors that we've worked with and are still supporting us, and I've seen them grow, and I wanted you guys to hear the stories from one of the actual project itself. So I'll play that. Mirrors, I might need your. I think it's preloaded, right? Yeah, sorry. That one. Thank you.
Yeah, we built a wonderful relationship through this project. It's been inspiring. It's been therapy. It's been faith. It's shown me love, kindness. I built relationship. I built brothers and sisters. It's super abundance. That's all I could.
It sounds like it's really touched you. It's had a deep emotional impact on you.
Yeah.
I would say that a lot of people do act like, they don't have much opportunity, but I would say there's not lots, but there is some. And just to say your point earlier that you had with Farah, I always tell people, and Farah will tell you, I don't have much opportunities, and I didn't when I was younger. As you say, I've been to prison on 6 occasions, and when I was 10 years old, being from South London, growing up in South London, probably the worst place you could live in London, the gang epidemic over there is quite rife, and I kind of got mixed up in that till I was 21. And for the last 4 years of my life now, I've been away from like I said, I'm blogging, I'm trying to help other young people, but in that time scale, I didn't have a lot of opportunities. I won't lie to you. I'm sure Ashley will kind of say the same. Due to probation or anything that the government's kind of giving, there isn't much. Oh, you know, you can come out and this is going to be scope for you to get a job in finance per se. Why not? Why can't an ex-offender do that? You know, people would probably frown upon it. But me, I was very lucky. I say I went to prison. I was intellectual. People always said to me, "You're intellectual. Do something." So I studied. I got my GCSEs. I got AS levels from there. And from there, I kind of just gone with that. And I would say where on Farah's course has kind of helped me, and what I say to him has helped me in a way of cognitive behaviour. I have nowhere to be therapeutic, per se. You know, a lot of young people don't have a space to express themselves. An outlet. This is an outlet, the perfect outlet between a young person, his community, and to break down the barriers of diversity, to break down the barriers of any form of stereotype. You know, we have white people with us, British people with us, African people with us, black, white, Hindu, Sikh, Christian, it doesn't matter. And it feels great. Do you know why I tell you it feels great? Because we are the people who people may stigmatise against, and together, it's a sense of community.
I know you're smiling equally. You rightly, mashallah, should be proud of what you're achieving, all of you. I think it's so terrific and inspiring.
If you give young people a voice, a platform to be heard, it's incredible what comes out of them. You are giving these young people a platform right now to be heard and to tell their story. And you can see, that's why I had that big smile, because I can see the potential and I can see what you're offering these guys. You're giving them the chance to be heard by the community and the British society.
Well, actually, I'm going to ask you, there's a lot of young people out there, and I mean, I know a lot of them who they've kind of fallen on the wrong side of life, and it's very easy to kind of feel sorry for yourself in that situation. Yes, as Noel said, there's not as many outlets or as many things out there, but there are some, and you've got to meet them halfway, haven't you? You've got to make the effort. Is that right?
Yes, but the one thing that us young people found to understand, living the life is about challenges, but it's about how you overcome those challenges. But you need to accept that you are righteous. Like, you don't need to condemn yourself. Accept what you've done, pick up from your mistakes, and make a difference. We are all one, we're human beings. The same thing with Mother Nature. If we don't look after, we plant a seed, if we don't keep watering our plants, they won't grow. And then we'll start dying. And then we won't have no air to breathe, then humanity's gone. So we need to work together and be one. We need to find the balance, the common ground.
Thank you, Farah, for both informing us and also sharing the video with us. And next I move on to the first of the three ambassadors, and then we move on to the two performance pieces. Lloyd Benjamin is a rapper, singer and songwriter. His passion is creativity with substance. He fully endorses individuality under the premise of, and I don't think enough people know about, could say that they truly promote this, unity in diversity. Now Lloyd has enjoyed working on his first UPress project, One Story, Our Voice, and as a participant who was homeless, where he was given the opportunity to share his story, he's since grown immensely, both in confidence and humility, and continues to support UPress, and I hope that you will welcome him and his story.
Good evening, everyone. So you told me to just basically break down my story. I'll start with what got me onto the project. I was actually staying in a hostel. I was there for about, I think, a year. I was there altogether for 2.5 years. But at the time I met Farah one day, he was doing the homeless project. I was there for about a year, so I was unemployed. I'm not going to get into the technicalities of obviously why I was homeless, but when his project came and was put forward to me, I was a bit apprehensive because there's a lot of projects that presume like they can help people, and they promise you this and they promise you that. And when I heard about the homeless, I thought it was just going to be another project like that, basically. But yeah, I was wrong. I found that the homeless project was the thing that gave me my wings. The thing that was, I was a bird who was clipped, so I was writing, I was stuck in my room before I was being homeless, and I was just constantly writing material without thinking, do you know what, I know I need to take it further, but I'm not going to take it further, I haven't got that support or that confidence to take it further, basically. So being on the project, meeting Asabi and EST, I was partnered with, they basically made us a track called Homelessness. And that got me to basically started my performing. So that was like the first proper performance I actually had. So yeah, so all I can say about that aspect of the homelessness project, what it meant to me, it gave me the opportunity to step out of my shell basically and show the world or introduce myself to the world as like, this is who I am. And I made a decision of I'm going to use my creativity as something that's going to deal with social issues, deal with create material that's inspiring for other people. So after that project, we went to the Voice of Redemption, and on that part, I didn't work as a participant or an artist. I just worked as an ambassador. So I was like, you know what, I want to give back. So to me, in life, we all born with gifts and we're all born with talents, but the thing that separates us sometimes is just the support. We lack that support, that external support for someone to help bring us, take you out of that situation that you find yourself in and bring you to another place basically. Provide that alternative to what you've already been through or what you already know, because that is your conditionings and that's your comfort zone that you built for yourself. So being able to give back to me is highly important. So that's why I came on board to Farah onto Voice of Redemption as an ambassador. Just basically to try and inspire people what it's like when you start offloading to people who are strangers. Because let's be honest, like you don't know everybody that's there, and the people that that's around you all the time, they might see your talents or your gifts or these traits that you have, which is positive, but let's be honest, they don't really bring that out of you. It's when you go around people that have never met you before, they start seeing these things and you'll be like, oh, okay, this person telling me like, oh, I can do this, I can do that, where you never really thought about that before. So that's what I wanted to do for the people of Voices of Redemption, is just to try and provide that inspiration for them to offload and to tell their story so that they have the same feeling that I had, you know, getting it out of my system, you know, and changing that perception of who they think that I am, basically. And then from there, we went to, I made a decision. I said, you know what? I'm going to start working. I'm not going to just go to work and just be that person who's working and making money for the sake of making money. I'm 33 years old. For the whole of my life, that's what I've been told, you know, get a good job and go and study and do all these things. And I've dabbled in law, I've dabbled in psychology, I've dabbled in anthropology, but I've never found my place other than my creativity. It's the one thing that stayed constant and the thing that's constantly growing. So I was like, you know what, I need to put my energy behind that and pull away from what the social demands or expectations for me are, like, which even comes from your own household. I had a father who's telling me that, you know, you need to get a good job, you need to do these things, but the reality is I don't feel like I'm built for that environment that he was trying to push me into. I'm built for the environment that I'm here to be in, basically, and that is for me to be in a role where I'm inspiring, interacting, engaging with people from all different walks of life, because the premise of my statement of unity and diversity, I don't believe in equality in the sense that we're all the same, you know, this rhetoric that everyone says we're all the same. The reality is we all come from different backgrounds, we all come from different cultures, we all got different conditioning and stuff like that. Only if we can appreciate who we are as individuals, then can we appreciate another individual for who they are. Like, so it's no point someone saying to you that you need to be equal, but what they're saying to you is that you need to be equal to me and what I put forward to me in equality. That's why I would say on this level, I don't believe in equality. On that level, I believe in unity and diversity. So to me, going out and working on different projects and mingling with people is putting substance to what you believe. So it's not just a talk, you know, you have a little bit of weight behind you. So yeah, I decided I'm gonna come onto UPress, like as a volunteer, yeah, and basically work with Farah to like to achieve his dream, you know, which is also magic. It's about sharing, getting people to share their stories and break those stereotypes, you know, those conditioning that we have. Like, because let's be honest, it's those conditionings and those stereotypes that lead to prejudices, leads to the hatred, leads to the intolerance, you know, when, like I said, it's all because people are trying to be this or trying to be that or trying to fit in, where just love yourself and be happy with who you are. And like I said, it's just appreciate someone else for doing the same thing also.
Thank you. we will be hearing more from, I suppose, all the speakers in the Q&A section, so we are trying to sort of keep it tight for time. Thank you so much. Moving on to Noel. Now, he's another ambassador who has grown up experiencing the harsh realities of the London Council estate, and he's used his experiences and tried to use education to work more in becoming a leading consultant to the government and other organisations on the topic of disadvantaged youth and social inequality. Now, he has a passion for reading and writing, and you can find out more about the things he's written on his blog, which he writes about time to time. And in that, he shares his experiences of the different types of situations that he's come across in deprived neighbourhoods around the United Kingdom. So if I could ask you to all welcome Noel.
Good afternoon. I do this on a regular basis, so I'm very lucky you only have 10 minutes because I can go on for hours. Yeah, I like to start little gags here. Everyone's smiling, see? It's more calm. Hello, my name is Noel Williams. I'm 26. No, I turned 26 the other week. A week ago, my name is 26 now. Hey, thank you very much. As our kind presenter has said, I've grown up on a London Council estate. Well, I did, from 0 to 21 years old. By the age of 12, I was in prison for 5 years of my life for having a firearm and discharging it in a public place. So you can imagine the people that were 22 years old and what they were doing when they were there if I was only 12. I got my GCSEs in prison, A-levels in prison with my voice you heard talking about it there. From then, I got to 21 years old, I came out for my first ever sentence for 5 years and I went back 5 times, product of my environment. Don't get me wrong, I'm not condemning the fact that I committed crimes and it's very wrong, I should be in prison. But that's how young people grow up sometimes living in London, and it's becoming a bit too much of a common situation. Through the education which I had, I met Farrell when I was 24 in Hammersmith in Cafe Nero. And as you can tell, he's that sort of guy, he's quite bubbly, you know, he's an activist, he's out there, and we just felt each other's aura in about 5 minutes, you know, we were hugging. He came over and he said, I've got this wonderful course I want you to be on. Somebody who's an ex-offender like yourself, somebody who's quite astute, they can get your point across. I remember I said, what's this going to do for me? Is it going to give me a certificate? Because I was always of the information of, if you do something, get a certificate. You can get you further, get a certificate. And I remember he said to me, no, it's going to give you a sort of therapeutic and a creative space and somewhere for you to feel like you can breathe and be yourself. And as you can imagine, by the age of 25, I'd never ever gone on the London Line. I'd never gone to Madame Tussauds. We didn't do things that normal people did living in this city, but we lived here. My whole life was a council estate, never coming off it, very secluded. And in about 2 or 3 weeks, because unfortunately I turned up and I had pneumonia. I wasn't well, so I turned up and I was very, very quiet in the first session, I remember. And then by the second session, I took it by storm, as I do, grabbing it by the scruff of the neck, making sure we had a great time, and whatnot. But a bit of my personality came out. And I think for me, what it would be is this. I always wanted to be something that everybody said I can't be. So now, as I'm studying for my university degree, people said I would never go there. You know, people said, oh, you're never going to get to uni, you're never going to do these things. I went on to the program very open-minded, but what I found in the first 2 or 3 weeks was everybody around me that was creative had their own drive, their own passion. They did their music, they did their spoken word, but they didn't do it to a small effect. It wasn't a hobby. It was actually what Lloyd said before. It's their drive. And I looked at that and I thought, I can smell it. I said, this is success. This is leadership. This is where I need to be. I'm a leader of people, I'm the person who sets an example, but also when you want to lead from the front, you have to go to get the information from the people who are also doing the leading. Within Farrah doing that stuff, I think the creative side for me is the writing, is the reading, is the kind of academic aspect. And I said to him, I want to be a consultant for the government because everybody's sitting down, quite frankly, about 40-year-old, mainly white, mainly Tory, and they are advising us on crime and justice. They haven't lived it. Well, how can I get in there, Farrah? I want to be in there. Why can't I do it, prison or not? And he probably will remember. I remember like yesterday. He said to me, you will do it. It's not about now. It's about where you're going to be. So you need to do the necessary things now to get to the place you want to be. Because 5 weeks later, my brother was murdered, stabbed to death. This is London. This is gang crime. This is what I live. So my reality was always going home and going to Farrah. I was like a kid, didn't I? To turn up smiling. But as soon as 9 o'clock came, it was normal for me to go back to South London and people would be murdered. Things had happened in that 3 or 4 month period while I was on this course. And I kind of take it here because I don't think anything else needs to be said, but between Farah and Denise, my whole life changed. I come to UPress one evening and I said to him, look, you know, my brother's passed away, my grandma doesn't want us in the house, I've got nowhere to study, I've got absolutely nothing in my pockets, and it's make or break for me, Farah, because I either go back on the street and start behaving like a nutter, or I go forward, because most people are going to do what they know. So Farah being Farah, he kind of grabbed me around the scruff of the neck and said a few nice things, and I think that was on week 8. By week 9, 10 and 11, it was more about me building myself as a person. You know, everybody was individual, as Lloyd said, everybody's an individual, but for me personally, it was about building myself development, and actually finding something inside myself that it can't be taught. You know, when I walked through the door, I'm sure Farah didn't think to himself, oh, we're going to have young people here who's going to have to go through witnessing murders and all sorts of stuff. And he helped me through that. UPress helped me through that. They helped me through a lot. At that time, I actually wanted to enroll into university. And that's what I did. I tried 44 universities and nobody accepted me for various different reasons, but it's for simply being an ex-offender. It's exactly what the project that Farah set up was about, hurdles, barriers. At no time did I stop on any of these barriers. I persevered to get to where I am now. And now, I'm a consultant for the law in GLA. I consult with the mayor's office every day. Sadiq Khan's my pal, he walks past me, I'm his pal. We both from Tooting, we both went to the same secondary school. He comes from the graph that I come from. So that's already turned itself around. I've not even got a bachelor's degree yet, but it's me investing my time in trying to help other people. Seeing what Farah did for me made me easily. The next day I was inspired to go out and help other people. I'm going to schools across the country now and talk to young people about gang awareness, political empowerment, about social deprivation, how to aspire to be more than what people kind of accept you for and put you in the box, in the bracket for. But everything that I'm doing and everything that's gone on, you know, I don't like to blow my own trumpet if I'm not to say when I'm here. You know, frequently I'm on the BBC, you know, they've got me on there. And I tell you what, like I've said just now, for me and my family, that's such a massive achievement. And for the people I come from, the place I come from, for other young people in London, I'm very lucky enough that obviously I'm very social media savvy, so I know a lot of people, they like to hear the story, they like to hear a good luck story, but what I would like to say when I'm summing up in the next 2 minutes is that UPress for me, I could have said many wonderful things that they do, but I kind of wanted to give you the doom and gloom, because at the end of the day, when you're a young man and you feel secluded in a big city like this where everything looks lovely but you don't get to enjoy it, everything looks reachable but you don't leave your estate, you can naturally wake up in the morning, going to work or your apprenticeship, get on a tube and smell success, but you're nowhere near it. I've been empowered to be the person that is the successful one. I'm going to be empowered to be the person that goes out to everybody else in the community and tries to relay that same message. I've been lucky enough to work with an organisation called By the Ballot, and this referendum that just went, I've featured on many things. I was able to take on Boris Johnson, take him down in Peggle 2 as well, you know, and kind of get my point across and get young people's points across in this country. And I feel that if UPress can do that for young people like myself and one young man like myself, it can change somebody's life. It's changed my life, it saved my life. I now live in Luton, I now study in Luton, and I'm here today with Farah, smiling, because my life has changed. I couldn't say much, I could go on. Thank you very much.
Inspiring story. I'm sure people are going to be asking you many questions. But moving on for now to our final speaker for the evening, Yahya. Now, he was a late addition to the panel, and we're very grateful that you were able to join us. This is a gentleman who's an aspiring filmmaker, an economist, and quite impressively, he's taught himself English. So English is his second language. And this is probably not even one of the more impressive things that he has to share with us tonight. So if we could just welcome him, I'm sure he'll tell his story.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Thank you for coming down. you, sisters and brothers. My name is Yahya. I'm from Somalia. And the reason I'm coming here is, in this country, in Great Britain, is my mom. She was, last 10 years, she was not okay. And I was in Somalia. And I decided to meet her again. It's really a long journey. And I had a lot of things, a lot of risk. Make short. Starting from Somalia to Middle East, to Sudan, to desert, 1 month I was there, to Libya, I was in prison, 1.5 years, and so 1 year, and finally I got a chance to come here. I want to make short. Then I met my mom, and it was so amazing, because last 10 years I wasn't seeing her. Then what happened is, you can imagine, a man come to Great Britain, can't speak English, has to know the system, has to know the culture. Basically my country last 25 years, no government, and I don't know anything. And what happened is, I was in hostel, I was homeless, I don't have my own place. Suddenly, new price family, I call always family. I use my own use. New price family, they come in the hostel, and I meet them, and I can't speak English, but I don't know what they do and who they are. And I don't know, something's pushing me. I just help you. Volunteering is amazing, but I'm telling you, I'm still doing some volunteering because I'm always active person. Doing some charities to set up tables. I can't speak English. And I don't know what happened. Suddenly we will work together, and it's really amazing. What happened is, I want to show you what I have learned, that project. First one I have learned is confidence. I can't speak English, I need to work, I want to generalize, to get married, to do what the people do. But I can't. How? The question is how? And when I met the Ubra's family, they like a family. They really look at me, everyone, and everyone he tried to look after me and to push me. They have different skills, mashallah, and they try to help me in different way. When I got the encouragement, and I got my confidence quick, I got the job, and I got, when we got there, that place, I got just confidence. We did another project, and they allowed me to in. And I said, okay, because I wanted to improve my English and to understand a lot of things. I worked with them, and that project I got the balance. Everyone, he understand. I hope the balance. For me, it seems like I got my job, and I got my own place, council flat, and I got my documentaries, especially, and I got the balance. I'm calm now. I say, oh, now you can do something. And I work with them again another project, and that project I got the work, can say that is excuse to make the human excuse for us. And really it is, I had learned a lot of things, but really I'm really happy now, and you guys, all my family, not just for all of them, they are really looking after for me. I'm very happy, and thank you also to share with my story. Thank you very much.
thank you to all our speakers for sharing their stories with us. And now moving on to the most unusual and most interesting part of the evening, the performances. Now, first of all, we have Asabi and Raghu, and they're performing So Strong. So if they could come to the stage.
Just to add something as well. Today I brought with me the actual artistic work that was produced from the projects that you've heard from Noel, Yahya and Lloyd. The first one that you see is, what you'll hear tonight is So Strong, and So Strong is inspired by a true story by a young woman who just happened, who is labelled as an ex-offender, and her story through overcoming her obstacles. And it's performed by the beautiful Asabi and Raghu, who go by the name when they perform together, You and Me. I encourage you to check their work out. They're incredibly talented, and I'm one of the biggest fans. They're part of the Universe family. To also just quickly add as well, at the end, I brought copies of the actual artistic album that were produced during the Voices of Redemption project, and I encourage you guys at the end to make a donation to support us to continue to do what we do. Not make a purchase, donation, so we can do the projects that we intend to do for our community. Along with this, I've also bought an electronic USB album, and this is a unique USB album because it has true life stories and lessons learned from Srebrenica, and the real life stories of mothers and the survivors that we met when we visited Bosnia. You'll also hear performance tonight based on one of the artistic performances by Kerry Shanti later on. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Now, if I can welcome the two performers to the stage before I introduce them in a bit more detail. So, Asabi is an engaging and captivating performer. Now, there are a few words to describe the music and poetry of this performer, so I won't try too hard. But the music meanders from soul to reggae to Afrobeat with sounds that she hopes to grab your attention with and draw you into her world of love and truth. Now she's joined by Raghu, who is a London artist who blends hip-hop, reggae, R&B, acoustic soul and a splash of grime. I don't think that I can do either of these individuals justice by really giving them more detailed bios, so I'd just like to ask them to begin their beautiful performance, So Strong.
So strong, didn't even know it. So strong, didn't show it. So strong, didn't even know it. So strong, didn't show it. So strong, didn't even know it. So strong, didn't show it. How strong, didn't even know it. Her fate encased in a world she wasn't ready to face. Yeah. Waiting there, baby, break the whoa, into womanhood. She knew she could weather alone. Her strength was her guiding stone. Strength was her guiding stone. God, she is so strong, didn't show it. So strong, didn't even know it. So strong, didn't show it. So strong, didn't even know it. So strong, didn't show it. So strong, didn't even know it. So strong, didn't show it. How strong, didn't even know it.
Straight below my surface, didn't even know my purpose. Till all my imperfections turned out right and made me perfect. Journey too far to turn back wouldn't be worth it. Try to hold me down till I'm empty and I'm worthless. I'm a survivor, always been a hard worker. Cry a river if you read a chapter from my journal. Every lap I find a hurdle. It's a miracle I wasn't a victim to a murder. The system tried to pervert my course to only push me further. But I've been so strong for so long. Life cycle goes around, it's like a circle. No crying over spilled milk, it's only gonna curdle. Mama Earth, my maternal instincts are eternal. Pregnant, won't let them put my pitney in the social service. So I keep my strength deep below the surface. Keep my strength deep below the surface. I can't forget my value, my purpose, or what my worth is, but I'm
so strong, didn't show
so
it.
strong,
So strong, didn't even know it. So strong, didn't show
so
it.
strong.
So strong, didn't even know it. So strong, didn't show it. So strong, didn't even know it. So strong, didn't show it. How strong, didn't even know it.
This is my song. I am strong, but I am right, but I am wrong. My nights are lonely, my days are long. This is my song, yeah, this is my song. This is my song. I am strong, but I am right, but I am wrong. Nights are lonely, my days are long. A hostel is where I'm from.
So strong, didn't show
So
it.
strong.
So strong, didn't even know
You guys
it.
involved?
So strong, didn't show
So
it.
strong.
So strong,
Don't be
didn't
shy.
even know it. So strong, didn't show it. So strong, didn't even
Last time we
know
done this
it.
time.
So strong, didn't show it. How strong, didn't even know it.
Big shouts out to you, Chris, for having us today. Thank you very much.
Moving on to our next performer, Karushanti. Now, she's always focused on political issues and she has a deep interest in hidden histories and a memory of conflict. Before I continue, I'm going to ask Karu to come and join us up on stage so that people Before you start, I just want to sort of let people know that, the reason you started doing spoken word was to raise awareness about different socio-political issues. And the performance for tonight is spoken word called Never Again, which is a piece that you prepared for remembering Srebrenica. And so if you would like to start, and if everyone could just welcome Karu.
Do you want a shortened version or the full version?
We want it all. We want that power.
Whatever you think.
Okay, all right.
Let's do full.
Should we?
Yeah.
You want full?
Yeah, well.
Okay, all right. Are we going to do the PowerPoint?
Yeah.
Or, okay, all right.
So let me know when you're ready.
You may need to flick through it.
Oh.
I'm not quite sure. It could be
You might
time.
play it.
I think it's on a time.
Is it on a time? All right. Okay, cool. Give it a shot. Okay, we could do it without the sound. They said it would never happen again. They said it would never happen again. We are happy that you are here today to witness the United Nations Genocide Convention of 1948. We state that we are here to maintain international peace and security, and to that end to take effective collective measures for the prevention and removal of threats to the peace. Genocide is a crime under international law, contrary to the spirit and aims of the United Nations and condemned by the civilized world. We recognise that at all periods of history, genocide has inflicted great losses on humanity, and we are convinced that in order to liberate mankind from such abhorrent behaviour, international cooperation is required. As contracting parties, we confirm that genocide, whether committed in time of peace or in time of war, is a crime under international law which we will undertake to prevent and to punish. 1989, the Soviet Union collapses. 1992, the multi-ethnic Yugoslavia starts to break. Slovenia succeeds. Croatia succeeds. Serbia succeeds. Macedonia succeeds, leaving a multi-ethnic Bosnia. February 1992, the war for a greater Serbia begins. I was 19 at the time, doing all the usual stuff, listening to The Clash and U2, caring about my trainers and Converse. In 1 week, the whole thing changed, although I was still in the same shoes. We were all quite oblivious to everything that was going to hit later on. You have to understand, for 500 years, we all lived in the same place. Serbs, Croats, Bosniaks. We never thought the war would hit us. We were a peaceful neighborhood like anywhere else. It first started with the Serbian military building roads, and we actually thought, yes, they're helping the poor farmers gain access to other areas. Then the shelling started. I lived on the 10th floor in a block of flats. Us young guys would sit in the corridors, it was the safest place, and play cards. I had a Bosnian Serbian friend who I'd known since I was a child. He used to come and sleep at my place to avoid the snipers. You see, the threat at first was external. It was the outside Serbian army. We never believed that the Bosnian Serbs, our school friends, our teachers, our greengrocers, our shoulder-to-shoulder neighbours would all join to try to wipe us as if a Muslim name was a dirty stain. A couple of weeks later, and I'm in the same corridor, only it's empty bar me and 2 other Bosniaks. The same Serbian friend that we shared cartoons, chat-up lines and football with vanished into Serbian territory without so much of a whisper, a goodbye, a take care. I had no choice. I too had to join the war. I had no military training. I got an AK-47 and 3 bullets. Yes, war is when enough of us collectively choose hell. War is never a solution. After only 2 weeks of fighting, I already wanted it to finish. There was so much confusion. Lost water, no gas, no heating, constant shooting, constant shelling. A single day took us back 2 centuries. 1992, United Nations General Assembly in a preamble state. Gravely concerned about the deterioration of the situation in the Republic of Bosnia, owing to intensified aggressive acts by the Serbian and Montenegrin forces to acquire more territories by force, characterized by a consistent pattern of gross and systematic violations of human rights, a bulging refugee population, resulting from mass expulsions of defenseless civilians from their homes and the existence of concentration camps and detention centres in pursuit of ethnic cleansing. They tried to kill us but couldn't kill the spirit. In 1993, I signed up to criminology. I signed up to university. I started studying criminology. It went like this. You met the professor, he gave you the books, and when you're ready, you go back to sit the exam. You wouldn't see the same professor's face again. Body after lifeless body. April 1993. The United Nations declared the besieged enclave of Srebrenica a safe area under UN protection. Blue helmets, white tanks. I remember when they said it. You are under the protection of the UN. We will not let you down. I was there as a teenager. I was a 14-year-old refugee in Srebrenica. We escaped from the village. We came seeking Portokari protection. I lived in the camp. We didn't have shoes or boots, but we were happy. We were all there. My brother, my cousin, my family. May 1993, a UN report from the Security Council warned specifically of a potential massacre in which there could be up to 25,000 victims if Serb forces were to enter Srebrenica. Its fears were justified. Military commander promised the Bosnian Serbian Assembly that if his army entered there would be blood up to the knees. 1995. The US state describes the protected zones of Srebrenica as untenable after Serbian military capture 400 UN Dutch-backed soldiers. The US, the UK and France call for the soldiers to be released and agree that troops are too vulnerable in the Srebrenica safe areas and should be withdrawn. 1995. The UN military monitor in Srebrenica reported to peacekeeping headquarters that the Bosnian Serb colonel is insisting on trying to find out what would be the reaction of the UN if the Bosnian Serb army would capture the enclave and expel the population. Literally, all the people living inside that enclave. 1995. A CIA memo, since disclassified, described the eastern safe area of Srebrenica as fish bones in the throat of the Serbs. 1995. The UN troops abandon camp at Potokari, Srebrenica. They leave the enclave and gift Serbian militaries with 10,000 tons of petrol. Srebrenica is the name of a town synonymous with the conflict that devastated the former Yugoslavia in the 1990s. It is a name that conjures up images of families being torn apart, of people forced onto buses with an unknown destination, of terrified, blindfolded men being led to their deaths, killed solely on the basis of identity, and of the grieving mothers, wives, sisters, and daughters left behind. I remember my son. He had green eyes, was tall like his father. The camp was broken, there were trucks everywhere. We were walking together. They shouted out, "Men over there." I grabbed him and screamed, "He's only a child." They dragged us. He fell. He started crying only at the point when he realized that I could no longer protect him. The mass executions followed a well-established pattern. The men were first taken to empty schools or warehouses. After being detained there for some hours, they were loaded onto buses or trucks and taken to another site for execution. Usually, the execution fields were in isolated locations. The prisoners were unarmed, and in many cases, steps had been taken to minimize resistance, such as blindfolding them, binding their wrists behind their backs, or removing their shoes. Once at the killing fields, the men were taken off the trucks in small groups, lined up and shot. I remember when they said it. "You are under the protection of the UN. We will not let you down." I was there as a teenager. I was a 14-year-old refugee in Srebrenica. When the camp fell, we started running to the woods, in the forest. We didn't know where to run. The Dutch soldiers, they just left us. We told them, "Don't go, don't leave us." Together with my father, we escaped. I managed to take a small bag of family photos. Everything was a mess. Thousands of people everywhere. In the chaos, I lost him. I tried to call out to him. I didn't know anyone. Everyone was just trying to save themselves. I was even begging people to hold my hand. We were walking for days, no food, no water. There was shooting, snipers, the army was tracking us. My biggest fear was to be wounded. Not killed, but left there and wounded. After a week, I felt like we couldn't walk anymore. Then they started shouting, "We were surrounded, come out, they would not kill us." We were beyond hunger, thirst, and despair. We came out. There was a big clearing. I recognized some people, some school friends. We were all put into trucks. One soldier even gave us a lecture. He told us that we were going to some warehouse and that we were going to have a big dinner. He was laughing, of course. Before we got out the trucks, he made us shout, "Long live the king, long live Serbia." It was night. They ordered us out of the truck and got us to stand in a row. Told us that we were going to register with the Red Cross, but that was another lie. The earth was hot and sticky with blood. They put us in the building of an old school. I saw my uncle there. For hours, we heard the automatic rifles shooting. The next day, we were put in a truck again. That's the thing, it wasn't just hate, it was so systematic. The doors of the truck open. Out! As soon as the bare feet left the van, rifles spat their bullets out. Everyone trying to shuffle further back, no escape. Out! Bullets, bullets, hissing. My row's next. Guy next to me has untied his hands and asked me if I want mine untied too. No point. We're next. He leaps out and the bullets pour even heavier onto him. I step out into the shooting air. Sharp shrapnel hits my shoulder. I fall on piles of mounted flesh. Another bullet hits my side. Bodies fall on top of me. I hear them shout, "Anyone still alive?" and shooting sporadically. I want to tell them so that they can end it, but something keeps me silent. 2005, the United Nations described the mass murder as the worst crime on European soil since the Second World War. In a message to the 10th anniversary commemoration of the massacre, the UN write that while blame lay first and foremost with those who planned and carried out the massacre, and those who assisted and harboured them, we did indeed make some serious errors of judgment. I look at you and see my children, all of you. You are so beautiful. Why don't you come and live with me in Srebrenica, huh? Rashad, come, get them a mat for them to sit, please. Make yourself comfy. Let me tell you, trust can be built over years and lost in a second. All of you, appreciate peace if you have peace. Hate is such a potent thing, we let it bubble under the surface and do not talk about it. And it's the same everywhere. Tensions lay under the water's surface. I want you to take back this message to your country. There can only be love. Yes, our families, our children, our husbands are gone. I pray to God just to find one bone of my youngest son. I stand here in this town where I once held the hands of my children. I stand here now as the same people that committed those crimes hold positions in both social and political institutions. You know, for the crime of over 8,000 deaths, only 15 got put in prison. The rest are just here, walking about. Out of those 15, some got 5 years, some got 18 years. And where do you think they come when they are released? But I do not hate them. No, hate is what made this. I am telling you now, there can only be love. We are a small people, but we can still raise our voice, for this is not just our sorrow, this is also the shame of the world. The whole world watched this happen, and the whole world lets this happen over and over again. And this is not just people from a faraway land killing each other. This is your governments, your armies, funding and supporting them. These are your weapons, your conquests, your wants for territorial power, your prescriptions to ethnic and national identity, your us against them, your enemy. And it's down to your love if you ever want anything to change.
Thank you so much, Karen, for sharing that with us. I imagine that some of the audience may have questions for both the performers. So at this point, I'd like to open the floor, as we usually do. We now have a Q&A section. It may be shorter than normal. But if any of you have any questions for any of our speakers, do please raise your hands. In the meantime, if I could just ask to each of the ambassadors, what was the first activity, the very first thing that you actually did with Youth Press? Did you speak aloud? Did you write something? What was the first activity that you did?
We threw a ball around. We had to say 3 things. Yeah, we've got good memory, man. We had to say 3 things, and 1 was a lie, and 2 is the truth, and everybody had to guess it.
Yeah, I remember that one.
Yeah, and that's the first activity. It's a good icebreaker for anybody who wants to do that.
Farah, could you give us some more detail? I mean, unless any of you want to add to that.
Did you want the first thing we did as an activity, or the first thing we did out of our comfort zone, kind of?
Exactly. If you could just give us all a flavour of how you press engaged you.
I would say, as a writer, it got me to that next stage to wanna perform. So I was, like I said, always write my own tracks and poetry. But when I worked on the track with Asabi, she played the guitar, I heard the melody, that automatically I just wanted to sing and do my own rap. So that was the first stage for me, taking basically the seeds and watering them. You know, as you say, like you watering the seeds and let them grow. That was what Eucharist did for me. That was the first change in my life at a point when I was in a hospital. And when you live in a hospital, they say it's homelessness. Like obviously it is homelessness, and it's not even the first time I've been there. That's the first time I've been there on my own. I've been there actually I've been in a hospital 2 other times with my family. So from the age of 10 years old, we've gone through that process of living in hotels, temporary accommodation, back and forth, you know, mum losing her job and all of that, just the whole poverty and the struggles. But when I was there, it's not a nice environment to be in. You literally got to be strong. Every single day, you've got temptation literally all around you. It's so easy to slip into this route or into this habit or that habit, because let's be real, we've all got our own habits. But when you've got everyone there in that pot and nobody is kind of there sometimes to support you, like I said, it's called back to the support. Like, and the hospital provided its own little services and stuff like that, but to me, that was a bit more artificial. So when having Farah come with the project, what that did was just take it to the individual. Like, where instead of just an institution basically trying to make sure they cover certain bureaucracy levels, Farah is about the individual. And that's how it personally helped me. So, yeah.
Thank you. Did you want to add anything here?
Come back again. Before I wanted to share a lot of things. Maybe you think I was in here maybe 7 years, 10 years. I just come here 2012, and when I made this price family, it was 2013. So you can imagine how I can improve my English and to understand the system and also the concept of people. So if I come back to that question, first thing I think the first person I worked with them, it was a female. I don't tell her the name, but she encouraged me really in a different way, and I make her a little bit, I had to bit things to encourage her, because these things, I can see her always she's talking about and she likes. And I say to her like, wake up, getting, wake up, getting, helping people, animals, plants, feeling higher. It was long, but I can remember.
Thank you.
Sorry, just to rectify, that was the first activity we did, but the first thing that he gave me with a bit of responsibility was stand up at Park Theatre, talk in front of 400 people, and this is your stage, this is what you do.
That was the first thing you asked me to do.
That's the first major thing I was cool.
Farah, if I could just ask you, you've heard about Voices of Redemption. Could you please explain to us what that project was, who you worked with?
Sure. Let's give her another warm applause. Just before I answer that question, I'm very proud of you guys, honestly, and just they give me a lot of compliments and they give me a lot of recognition, but this is down to you guys. All I did is provide a venue and an avenue for you guys to express yourself. You had that talent already in you. So I can't take full credit for it. This is a credit to you. You guys being persistent and working hard to fulfill your goals and aspirations. So it's down to you. I can't take credit for it. All I did is provide an avenue and a creative outlet for you to express yourself. So thank you guys. So to answer your question, how did the Voice of Redemption work? Voice of Redemption was a project, so just give you a quick recap. So the homeless project that we did was a pilot project. We didn't have any funding. It was an idea that started out. We wanted to give homeless people a voice, and we wanted to bring upcoming artists to work with the homeless people. We did this project within 7 weeks. 7 weeks, we had an incredible impact, and we had a sold-out event. And what inspired the project, we thought, wait a minute, we've tapped into a model that works. Why don't we replicate this and work with more marginalized and invisible community members and empower them to have a voice? And this led to the Voice of Redemption project. And this is when we secured funding because we had to test out the pilot. And it worked really well. So what we did is, it was a 10-week project with 10 participants, with 14 artists, 2 filmmakers, graphic designers, photographers, and a group of volunteers. Over 40 people involved that came together and did this project. We did this in North London. What we did is 10-week sessions were focused on the soft skills, developing and getting the participants involved in telling their story, and then deciding what part of their life that they want to share. And what that process did is it gave them a chance to reflect and think on what's important to them. And at the same time, we're working on a bigger goal, which is to challenge the negative stereotypes that you see in the media and society, and using creative arts to put you as an audience in the feet of the participants to live their life, see what it's like to be an ex-offender, being labeled as an ex-offender, and some of the struggles that you face. So what we did is those 10 weeks, and that led to 10 incredible pieces of artwork that were produced. And what followed was the actual album itself that I encourage you guys to get. It's got incredible pieces of artwork in there. And what happened actually organically as well, you see these pictures here, these are avatars designed by an incredible talented young man. What these avatars represent is each participant's future self, what they aspire to be, regardless of what past mistakes that they've made in the past, or regardless of what society is putting on them. So just like Noel, we've got Noel there, we've got Lloyd, we've got a group of participants and their future self. So worth checking out when you get a chance. Sorry to play in a little promotion there. So after we did that, we did the actual performance in Park Theatre, and we had a sold-out event, and it was incredible to see the impact that the actual audience, because if you know Finsbury Park and that area, it's predominantly quite mixed in terms of social class. So it's good to see that community to bring and actually bring it to this creative outlet and actually experience the lives of 10 incredible young people. Hopefully I answered.
No, you did, thank you. So does anybody in the audience have a question for any one of our speakers or performers? Yeah, go ahead.
So, first of all, thank you so much for coming in and sharing your stories with us. They're so inspiring and just very powerful. My first question is to anyone and everyone on the stage. What is it besides support that gives young people empowerment through your program? And also for Noel, I work with young people in a school, and from they're 11 to 16, and some of them are really difficult. And what was it that helped you to make a positive change in your life?
Okay, so to start, I'm going to ask Farah to explain what, other than support, the participants benefit from, and then if anybody else wants to add in, please do.
Okay, so just to give you, in terms of when it comes to working with young people, especially vulnerable young people, they can tell when you're lying or but when you're bullshitting. They can read you like there's no tomorrow. So what I always do is I'm very transparent and I communicate directly what it is that I intend to do and what work I intend to do for them. And a lot of the young people, they will pick up on your integrity and your honesty. And they will normally follow up just like Noel did, what's in it for me? What am I going to get out of this? And you tell them what exactly they're going to get out of it, specifically. But you also have to remember, aside from support, most young people, what they want is to be listened to. If you give them an opportunity to be listened to, you'll be surprised what comes out of those young people. They have incredible talent, but they're just not being given an opportunity to do so. No, that answers your question.
Thank you. Does anybody else want to contribute to that first question of what other than support?
All I would say is youngsters kind of, they respect power. So where I see it is every child is trying to be who they want to be. And if you look at it like on a level where they haven't learned they haven't learned to fear like we have, because they haven't experienced certain things. So when you're dealing with a youngster or someone of that age, it's like you yourself have to be fully sure of who you are. Yeah, because this little person is going to challenge you. And you have to allow them to challenge you, because it's through that challenge that they're able to understand that what they need to change about themselves and what they should keep about themselves. And I think a lot of youngsters are being told that you've got to be this way, you've got to be that way. And it just comes back to this whole thing about, like I said, unity and diversity. We have to find a way to understand that expression or individuality is infinite. So there are certain things which are conducive to a certain way of life and some things which are counterproductive. But unless we give, like I've said, it's that give them the opportunity to speak, but not just to speak, but to express themselves, like literally, if that means they talk in a specific way or they act in a certain way, because everyone is different. Not everyone communicates in the same way, and to have that tolerance and that patience to deal with people on that level it is a bit more difficult. Like, but to me, it's that openness and that willingness to allow someone to speak and to let them be themselves. Like, and then you can say, okay, I can work with that. You know, it's like we might not be coming from the same page, but I understand. And I think that's what it is, it's the understanding. Understanding does not mean you accept this or you accept that, but the understanding just, it sets the level playing field, it sets the foundation for that respect. And one day a child gives you respect, anything is possible after that.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Moving on to the second question.
They kind of touched on many things that I would say, but I think it's very hard to talk about young people who are into curriculum or in school, because the school has its own curriculum. Depending on what government we have in country, they have their own policies on how they want to do and go forward with certain things in life. I've got to stay impartial, but if you take the Labour sort of view, then we get into it. Well, I've got to understand, you know. If we take the Labour sort of view, we take like Tony Blair post that time, then I think we would get involved into looking at that young person and understanding, like I said to you when I was speaking, that in London we have an epidemic. Most of those kids are not even bad. They're angry. Like Farah said, they want to be listened to. Like Lloyd said, they need a place to express themselves. There's no youth clubs. Austerity has hit us very hard. Now, to understand our young people, it's different when I was young. I'm only 26, don't get me wrong, so it's only going back 10 years. But 10 years ago, things weren't as hard as they are now. I had one or two options, I had one or two places that I could go. Plus, I didn't really start changing my life until I was 21, you know, and I started changing. I got shot, I've been stabbed 9 times, one of my friends was murdered right next to me. A lot had to go on. Like Lloyd said, I had to go through a lot of experiences. I'm a Muslim, so I got closer towards my faith, and I feel like that kind of pushed me towards a better path as well. But like I said, it wasn't 3 years until I met Farah, things was a bit rocky. And the key fact for me is that the moment, everyone has their enlightening moment, is when you find someone or something that believes in you more than you do. Very big thing. When I saw Farah, he saw something in me that I didn't see yet. And off the back, I've never said this to you, and I'm going to be honest. I had Farah and I had another woman called Meg, who I used to work with, and Farah knows her very well. She worked with me very closely. She flew out and lived in a whole different country. On the last day we had our performance. She stayed for the performance. She stayed just to see me perform. And on that day she said something to me. She said, oh, now you're in a good place with somebody who can push you to the next level. So to answer your question, one, it took me to the time of someone to believe in me more than I believed in me. And then obviously in results, 2 + 2 is always 4. So when you start to see the results, seeing is believing. Off the back of me just talking, you know, I did perform at this show that we had. Guardian come to me, Labour, councillors, you know, opportunities came in one day. So everything that we've been building up to for the 2.5 months, it was like, oh, hold on a minute, I just been myself and things came to the forefront. Secondly, for you and your personal self, when you go to work, what I would say is myself being a young man who was very troubled in secondary school, I didn't like any teachers, and there was always one I did like. I think what you can do, depending on the curriculum and what's going on in your building, is that when you find that young person, just like Lloyd said, maybe give them that little bit of 2 minutes to find out what is actually wrong with you today. Why are you so angry? Because if he happens to say that his mum's on Class A drugs, I think that a referral to the local, social service, we just need to create a bit more understanding with our young people, instead of maybe that sort of overall conservative sort of, all right, one for all and all for everyone. If he's kicking off, everyone's kicking off, put them all in the box, they're all crazy, the Metro, you know what, these hoodies, I tell you what, we can't handle what's going on, and if we lock up more people in prison, we will be safer. Yeah, it's a totally different mind frame to have, because if you're in education, when kids are on certain paths, they can see their ways going certain places, it makes it a bit more difficult, but that's what I can say for school, and then, like I said, for individuals who are out of school and doing certain courses and programs, it's that moment that other people believe in you, and not just talk about it, they actually invest in you, that you can see some form of change for yourself, because as you can all see, I'm a young man who's been in contact with the police numerous times, been to prison 6 times. I look like a yob, is what people would explain me as in the Metro, but as we can hear me talk and start investing in yourself, people can see I'm quite down to earth, so I guess we just got to give people a chance.
Thank you.
So, thank you for asking. Thank you.
Unless anyone has any further questions, we do normally draw to a close at this time so that we can give people in the audience an opportunity to come and speak to the speakers individually. So thank you all for joining us.
Sorry, can I just say
Yeah,
one thing?
please go ahead.
Before everybody comes to speak, I'd like to thank you for all coming up, because if there's one thing that you've got in common is clearly you're here for some form of change, some sort of ideas, you're activists within yourself, you push for change. I'm an activist, I'm always up and down the street, and it's lovely to see that people are coming here after work days, so thank you very much, because it must have been a long day, Friday and all of that, middle of London, I bet people want to get home, thank you very much.